Hello students, this is Hardik sir, and today we will be starting our Unit 2, Chapter 3, Why Do We Need a Parliament, from Standard 8, Social and Political Life book. So as we are heading towards the Unit 2, that means we will be continuously studying Chapter 3rd and Chapter 4th. Chapter 3rd, as you can see on your screen, that is titled as Why Do We Need a Parliament, and the fourth chapter we will be studying is something about understanding laws. So before we start this particular chapter, why do we need a parliament, as we have already studied about the state legislature in standard 7. So we have one photograph here, as you can find, titled as election results for Lok Sabha. You can see there are different numbers given. You can also find with the left side the names of different states of India. If I ask you at least one or two questions from this particular photograph, you would be able to answer this. So here, as you can see, that it is titled as the election results. So here you can find the name of the states, and here you can find the names of the political parties. So here you can find the name of the Congress, PSP, Communist, likewise. And here you can find the states. As you can see, Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Bihar, etc. So if I ask you from this photograph itself, that how many total number of seats do you find? The next, if I ask you, which state has the highest number of seats in parliament? So which state has the highest number of seats? Vice versa, which state has the least number of seats? Also, by seeing these results, according to you, which political party will form the government? So you have at least that skill to answer these all questions. After your answers, you all can write your answers in the comment also. So now we are ready to start our chapter 3rd. Why do we need a parliament? All of you would have definitely heard the word parliament. It's not at all new word for you all. You have also studied about state legislature in standard 7. So we have completed that part in previous year. How is an MLA elected? What are the qualifications to be an MLA? We have already studied all those parts. Before we start with this lesson, we are also helped with some introduction. So we in India pride ourselves being a democracy. So as we know that India is a democratic nation, here we will try and understand the relation between the ideas of participation in decision making and the need for all democratic governments to have the consent of their citizens. So firstly, we can understand that we are a democracy, obviously. And here we are going to understand about the ideas of participation. So the participation of people in decision making process. So as you all would be knowing that definitely every single Indian citizen is given an opportunity to vote, to elect his or her representative. And this is all we can understand in a democratic nation, that this freedom and this right is given. So this is all we are going to see in this particular lesson. In these elements that together make us a democracy. So all these elements together make us a democratic nation. And this is the best expression, or this is best expressed in the institution of parliament. So all of us together make democracy, and we have the best example, that is through the parliament. In this chapter we will try to see how the parliament enables citizens of India to participate in decision making and control the government. So you can understand, the citizen of India participate in decision making and they control the government. So I'm underlining it again, decision making and control, and this action is done by citizen but enabled by parliament. So ultimately, we, the people of India, elect the government. This is the people who decides that who will be forming the government. So, thus making it the most important symbol of Indian democracy and a key feature of the constitution. So, key feature, why is it considered as a key feature? This decision making, that participation in decision making and controlling the government becomes a key feature, because that right, that power, that authority is with the people of India. So it becomes a key feature because we have that right to decide that who will be forming the government. The same picture you also will find on the cover page of your textbook. You can find that they are all different, but they are all united one as Indian. So you have already seen this picture, and we have also discussed the same in chapter 1. So let us now start with the first important subtitle: why should people decide? As we were discussing something about a decision making process. So now the question arises, why should people decide? So before we go with that, also we have here one question, that what do you think the artist is trying to convey through the image of parliament on the previous page? So as we have seen this picture, and as I told you, and you also can share your ideas, share your views about this picture. So now, why should people decide? India, as we have all knowledge, that India became independent on 15th of August 1947. Before that, we had a long difficult struggle against the British government, as you all know. So before that, we had a long and difficult struggle in which all the sections, we can say many sections of society participated. So there were different communities, different groups of people participated to achieve the freedom. So people from various backgrounds joined the struggle, and they were inspired by the ideas of freedom, equality, and participation in decision making. So you can understand that all the people, though they were from different backgrounds, they all joined the struggle, and ultimately they were inspired by the ideas of freedom. They all wanted freedom, equality, and also their own participation in decision making. Because when there was a colonial rule, as India was a colony of Britain, we all know. So that's why when it was the colony, by the time the people had lived in fear of the British government. So there was a fear of British government, and because of that, whenever if they did not agree with many of the decisions they took, the people had no right to ask a question to government. So you can understand, during the colonial rule, if people did not agree with many of the decisions they took, they had fear of the British government, but they faced, so if there was a question, then they had to face a grave danger if they tried to criticize these decisions. So if they had a question, if they ask a question to the government, then the severe punishments were given. So that's why we wanted the participation. The freedom movement changed this situation. So as the freedom movement gained its momentum, slowly and gradually, the scenario started changing. Means the situation started changing. The nationalists began to openly criticize the British government and make demands. So slowly and gradually, this all thing happened. The freedom fighters, ultimately the nationalists, they openly started criticizing the British government, and they also now started making the demands. As far back as 1885, means when the INC, Indian National Congress, was formed, it demanded the INC demanded that there has to be elected members in the legislature even of India. Means the Indians should be given the representation in the legislature, and so that they will have a right to discuss the budget and ask questions. So you can understand before words there was a grave danger if they criticize their decisions. And now by 1885 when INC was formed, it started asking the questions to the government and even also their demands to include Indians in the legislature, so that they also will have right to discuss the budget and ask the questions. The Government of India Act 1909, so you can understand, after the formation by the year 1909, it allowed for some elected representation, at least some elected representation we got it. So while these early legislatures under the British government were in response to the growing demands of the nationalists, they did not allow for all adults to vote, nor could people participate in decision making. So it allowed, but as we have seen, for the some elected representation. So entire population was not given an opportunity for the decision making process. As we have also studied or read in chapter first, the experience of colonial rule as well as the participation of different people in the struggle for freedom left little doubt in the minds of the nationalists that all persons in independent India would be able to participate in making decisions. So, as we have already seen that part, that the experience of colonial rule as well as the participation of different people in the struggle for freedom left little doubt in the minds of the nationalists that all the persons in India would be allowed for decisions. But with the coming of independence, we were going to be citizens of a free country. So then we will have the right to include entire population in decision making process. So this did not mean that the government could do what it felt like. It meant that the government had to be sensitive to people's needs and demands. So government cannot do anything whatever it liked. So it actually means that government had to be sensitive about people's needs and demands. The dreams and aspirations of the freedom struggle were made concrete in the Constitution of Independent India that laid down the principle of universal adult franchise, that is, that all adult citizens of the country have the right to vote. So the people in government will be sensitive to people's needs and demands. So ultimately the government is worried about the aspirations, about the dreams of the people, and that's why we have seen that the people are all given the universal adult franchise. That means we have seen all adult citizens of the country will have the right to vote. Means from their vote itself the people are going to decide that who would be their representative. So here also we have one picture, one photograph of an elector who is reading instructions for using the EVM. So what do you mean by the word EVM? You have already seen it. You would have definitely have gone through this word in the previous standard. So now we also will get some more information about EVM. So the above photo that shows a voter who is going to elect someone as per his or her choice. So the above photo shows a voter reading instructions on how to use an electronic voting machine. So you can understand that is electronic voting machine, that is known as EVM, and EVMs were used throughout the country for the first time in the 2004 general elections. The use of EVMs in 2004 saved around 1,50,000 trees, which would have been cut to produce 8,000 tons of paper for printing the ballot papers. So we have saved 1,50,000 trees by producing or by using EVMs in the year 2004. You can at least understand that to produce a lot amount of paper, 1,50,000 trees were to be cut. But because of this electronic voting machine, ultimately now we have saved this. But the most important information you should learn, or you should know, you should be well aware about, that is what is the full form of EVM first, and when for the entire country, for the throughout country, EVMs were used first. So in the year 2004 it was used first for the entire country, throughout the country. So now we have some question here also. Give one reason why you think there should be universal adult franchisee. So at least you should have one reason according to you, that why there should be UAF, why everyone should be given, all adult members should be given right to vote. And we have also one question that as a student you can answer well. Do you think there would be any difference if the class monitor was selected by the teacher or elected by the students? So you must have enjoyed the elections in your school, and definitely you might have an idea that if the monitor was selected and the monitor was elected, then what does the difference it create? Next subtitle, as you can find, people and their representatives. So ultimately we have seen that the people who will vote to elect their representatives, so ultimately these representatives will be taking care of the needs and demands of the people. So for that they need one representative, and this representative will be also from amongst themselves. So the people would be electing a person on behalf of them to take decisions. So that person, that representative, will take decision on behalf of these people. So the takeoff point for every democracy is the idea of consent, that is the desire, approval and participation of people. So the takeoff point, the startup point, as you can understand, that is in a democracy, is the idea of consent, in which the approval is given. You can understand the word consent, that is the desire, the approval and participation of the people. So it is the decision of people that creates a democratic government. So the decision of people, you can understand, that creates the democratic government, and that people only decide about its functioning. So they are the people who are going to decide the functioning of the government. Means the people of India, as they elect their representative, they, according to their wish, according to their desire, that democratic government is going to function. So the most important part, you can understand, that is with the people who have right to decide, who have right to vote to elect their representatives. The basic idea in this kind of democracy is that the individual or the citizen is the most important person. You can understand it well, because that is the decision of people, and that decision creates the democratic government and its functioning. So ultimately it lies with the an individual or with the citizen, and that's why that individual citizen becomes the most important person, and that in principle the government as well as other public institutions need to have the trust of these citizens. So if they have the trust of the citizens, then only they can be in the power. If the people do not trust, then definitely by the next election they cannot be in the power. So how does the individual give approval to the government? We have a question that how a person give, ultimately how he is able to give his consent to the government. So one way of doing so, as we have seen, through election, means through election a person will vote and show his or her consent, his or her approval. So that is through election a person will show his approval. So one group from among these elected representative forms the government. So from elected representatives, so there will be number of representatives, and from those representatives one group will be forming the government. The parliament, which is made up of all representatives together. So there will be number of representatives, and that number of representatives of the parliament, which we are going to see soon. So that all representatives together controls and guides the government. So these representatives are from the people, they are elected by the people, so they will be controlling and guiding the government. So ultimately you can understand that one individual person has voted for these representatives. So on the basis of that election, these representatives ultimately will control and guide. Means an individual always gives an authority to these representatives to function, to take decision on his behalf. So these representatives will be working on behalf of the people of the country. In this sense, people through their chosen representatives form the government. Who chose the government? Who chose the government? That is people. Ultimately the people form the government, we can understand, and also control it. Means ultimately the people are going to control it. The people have right to vote, and because of that right only you can understand well that they have right to change the government also. This photo shows election staff using an elephant to carry polling material and EVMs to polling stations located in difficult terrain. So where other means of transportations might not be available, and that's why the election staff has to use an elephant for transporting EVMs. As you can see here, there is a bag, and this contains the EVM, that is electronic voting machine. So you can find here that this is how ultimately the situations are developing day by day, and these people are working harder, election staff, for each and every rural or remote areas. So their vote is also important. The above idea of representation has been an important theme in your class 6th and 7th. We have studied in 6th and 7th. In 6th we have studied about the village level, means rural level, local level. We have seen that is up to Zilla Parishad, starting since from the Gram Panchayat. In 7th we have studied about the state government, and this is the year 8th standard. We are studying about the parliament, that is the central level of the government. So you are familiar with how representatives are chosen at different levels of government. We have already seen all these levels. So now let us recall our ideas by doing this following exercise. So I request you to go through this exercise very carefully. This is the easiest part to recall. So once you will complete this, definitely you will have an idea that what knowledge you should have before going further with the lesson. So if you come across through any question, any difficulty, definitely you can ask in the comment. From this particular section also you can find that we have the easiest question. I will try to explain you. You have to use the term constituency and represent to explain who an MLA is and how he gets elected. So according to your constituency you can have some sort of idea, and also you can mention the way how a person gets elected. So next point, which we are not able to discuss right now, that what is Vidhan Sabha and what is Lok Sabha. There are only points of difference you are supposed to mention. So you also know from this is state legislature, and you know this is belonging to union government. But we have some sort of different understandings which we also will be finding with the upcoming chapters. So from the list below you have to identify that which are the works taken care by the state government and which are the functions are done by the central government. So you have some keywords, ideas. So maintaining peaceful relations with China, Madhya Pradesh about discontinuing the exam of class 8, introduction of a new train, and introduction of new 1000 rupee note. So from these all at least ideas, I am giving you the hint that these are the most important keywords that which you should focus upon. And next we are given with some fill in the blanks, and you are also helped with some keywords to answer them. So just go through this. If you have any query, any doubt, you can ask in the comment section. So next, fifth and sixth question also you can go through that what it wants to suggest. As we have completed that most elected members, whether in the panchayat or the Vidhan Sabha or the parliament, are elected for a fixed time of 5 years. They have the tenure of 5 years. And why do have a system where the representatives are elected for a fixed period and not for the entire life? You must be knowing this answer, so you can also write answer in one sentence itself. Next question is asking about which you have read about this people participation in other ways also in a previous standard. We have seen the same in sixth standard also, that what are the different ways apart from the election where the people can express their views, or they can approval, or they can show their approval or disapproval about the actions of the government. Can you describe the three such ways through a small skit? Means small skit, you have to perform a small skit and also give these ideas. But if not possible, you can also mention in write about these three ways of participation, dharnas and how signature campaign. So these are the ideas I am giving you. It does not mean that only these are the two ways, but to recall for this can be helpful. So this is the picture ultimately you know all about, and below also we are having different two pictures. These pictures are also numbered 1, 2 and 3. So we are also given some explanation about these pictures. So as you can find the first picture, the Parliament of India, in bracket as it is written Sansad, you can pronounce it well. So the Parliament of India is supreme lawmaking institution. It has two houses, Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. So with picture second you can find this is Rajya Sabha with a total strength of 245 members, and the chairman of Rajya Sabha is the Vice President of India. With the Lok Sabha you can find with the picture 3 here, that is the House of the People, and it has the membership of 545 members. Means there are 545 members, and it is presided over by the speaker. So this is the all part which we are going to see with this book itself in 8th standard. If you are not comfortable, if you are unable to understand about the Rajya Sabha or the Lok Sabha, then don't worry, we are going to see every single part in a detailed form in the same book itself, because these are the all important parts included in standard 9th. So you are going to see about every single detail by standard 9th. So your basics are created, are developed in 8th standard. So this is end for the time, and we will be resuming our part 2 from the title, the role of the parliament. So till then I request you to read the chapter. If possible, read the entire chapter once and then only continue with the part 2. Thank you so much.